Hey guys, this is OG from Crypto Nights back with another cryptocurrency video. So on Bitcoin, and then we will move on to Ethereum. Again, as always, if you appreciate these videos, please click the like button and please subscribe so that you can get timely updates on these videos. Now, yesterday I mentioned that that we were breaking out at this point and that I was taking a small speculative long with the potential of adding if we were coming back to 33.5k, right? So while this um, was a breakout, there was still a chance that we'll come back to near the 200 MAs for a retest, and so that's exactly what it did. Now, here's what I'm looking at for now. It looks like we are actually forming an ascending triangle pattern, right, with higher lows, but the highs are about the same, roughly. So what I'm looking for potentially are two potential setups. The first bullish setup is for a breakout of this ascending triangle to the upside. This is technically the higher probability scenario because one, ascending triangles are typically bullish, and two, especially if coming into the pattern there was a bullish move, which we had here, right? We rallied, consolidating in a bullish triangle pattern, and so technically we should break out to the upside. So where would the target be, right? So one way to look at it is to measure this flagpole, right? So then these measurements aren't always exact, right? But they give us a rough idea of where to potentially take profits, when to scale out. So if we just put it something like this, right? We put it at the point of breakout. This gives a target of roughly 38.3. Let's call it 38,000, right? So that's what we're looking at currently on the bullish side. On the flip side, if price were to come down, right, the first area that I will be looking for a potential long, or add to my long, depending on if you're already in a position or not, is the 200 period moving averages on the 15-minute time frame, right? So this is currently sitting at around 34k, but um, it's probably in this range, right? So 34 to 34.3, let's say, the because the 200 MAs are sloping upwards, and so by the time price does come down, in the case that it does come down, then this is likely going to be slightly higher than where it is right now. So in fact, I'm going to move this alert up a little bit so that I can get an alert kind of earlier, right? Um, so that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin in the immediate term. So either breakout at around, let's say, 35.3.4k, so it close above this level with strong volume, or if we do come down here, then I'm looking for a potential long in this area, 34 area. Of course, I will only enter upon confirmation, right? So if we don't get strong volume or bullish confirmation in this zone and we actually continue downwards, then this is likely going to be a bearish scenario where then I would potentially look for a short upon some sort of pattern, a breakout out of consolidation or retest of the MAs, depending on what the market does. Now, switching over to Ethereum has been quite strong, right? So it's mirroring Bitcoin in some sense, but it's been performing a lot stronger recently. So first of all, a quick recap: we had a W bottom or a double bottom, depending on what you want to call it, and we had the neckline at around, let's call it 1895, and we had a breakout of that level with a very, very strong volume. You can see this huge spike and huge candle. So this was a very bullish candle breaking out of this W or double bottom pattern, and this currently has given us about 15%, right? 14.5, 15% off of this breakout. So now what we can potentially look for is continuation, right? If we believe that this bullish momentum is going to continue, where could we potentially enter into a trade or add to our trade? Again, I'm going to look over at the 15-minute time frame as the first potential area for a long, and it's again going to be the 200 MAs, which is around 2020, no, 2020 to 2050, right? This region, for the same reason as we mentioned for Bitcoin, because the MAs are sloping upwards, and so if price were to come down, then likely this would be at a higher level than where it is currently, and so that's why I'm setting the alert slightly higher than where the MAs are at right now. And if we were to just pull a fib like this, we can see that the 61.8 is around 1890 to 1900. So, this could be another area where I could look for a potential bounce or potential long if price does come down all the way down here. But of course, by that time we will have new market conditions, new market structures, and so, we will have to reevaluate whether or not it makes sense at that point in time to take a long in this region. But it's always good to have these levels in mind beforehand so that you can plan ahead instead of reacting in the moment, right? So this is another region where there could be a potential trade area. But in the immediate term, I'm looking at 2020 to 2050 for a potential long. And again, if we do get a bullish confirmation with strong volume, only then will I enter. I will not put a blind order here, right? I'm always reacting to the markets. I don't predict what the markets will do. And then a quick look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Again, as you can imagine, of course, this is going up, right? Because Ethereum has been rallying a lot harder than Bitcoin the last couple of days. And so let's zoom out to the 1 hour. So in yesterday's video, I was actually mentioned that we were retesting this 200 MAs, and while this wasn't the I was cautious right here. I also was kind of open to the possibility that this will break out because this is now the second retest, whereas the first retest of the 200 MAs typically end up in continuation, which we had here, right? So we broke down from here, and then first retest, continuation down. This was the second retest. And so while there was still a possibility of getting rejection, the probability is a lot lower compared to the first retest. And so I was mentioning in yesterday's video that I would pay close attention to what would happen here. If we get rejected, then likely Ethereum will continue to go down, as well as the overall markets. But if this holds and we actually switch, flip this 200 MAs from resistance to support, then we're likely to see a rally, which we are getting. And now we're again consolidating, right? So this is some sort of a symmetrical triangle, if you will. Right, and again, patterns are more likely to break out in the direction where it came from, right? So this is up move. So technically speaking, the likelihood of breaking up is bigger. But as always, it's all probabilities, right? And the higher probability event doesn't always play out, right? So even if this is a 70% chance of breaking upward, there's still a 30% chance it comes down, right? So we always need to keep in mind the potential risk, the potential downside, so that we can manage that risk, right? And so that we can set proper stop loss, right? So we can manage our position size, so we don't lose everything if we are wrong, right? Trading is a long-term game, right? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not going to be rich overnight. This is something that's slow accumulation, and you want to be in this game long enough for the probabilities to play out in the long term, right? And so, if if your strategy has a 70% chance of winning, you want to make sure that you can take 100, 1,000 trades so that you will have 70% win rate. But if you're only trading 10 times or 5 times, then you might just be that unlucky. And even if you have a 70% win strategy, you might end up with a string of 5 losses, right? Or even a string of 10 losses, right? So this is why proper risk management and position testing is super important. Anyways, this is, I think that should do it for today's video. Again, a real quick recap for Bitcoin. On the upside, we're looking for a close above 35.5 for long. On the downside, we're looking for potential long at around 34, 34.3, let's say, if we do come down here. And then if we close below this, then we're going to be flipping, bearish in the immediate term. On Ethereum, we're looking at around 2020 to 2050 for a potential long if we do come down here. So again, thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please do share the love, click the like button, share this video with your friends, and most important of all, subscribe and click that bell notification so that you can get these trade alerts in real time. Thank you guys, and see you in the next